So for this week's video, I'm just discussing the synthesis assignment and going over the self-empowerment model that I chose for my client Stefan. So the self-empowerment model will seek to develop my client's ability to control their own health status within their environment at home. I want my client to be encouraged and appropriately challenged to engage in cognitive strategies like critical thinking, behavioral strategies like critical actions, and I also want him to tap into his own emotional components at an individual level. So a lot of this, he's doing this on his own. He's self-empowering himself. However, he will also have the option to use me to help guide him when he gets caught in a situation that he can't take on himself. That's sort of why I'm here, and we're doing this internship. So I want to make sure that if he gets stuck and needs a little help with this stuff, I would hope to be there for him. For the cognitive portion of this whole thing, I broke it down to two aspects, and the first one's critical awareness. And so I want my client to be aware of his own self-actions, thoughts, and emotions, to see how his actions and thoughts influence and contribute to potential conflicts in his progress. So this can just be like any outside noise that is happening throughout his day, that and the whole aspect to this critical awareness is that I really want him to be aware of it all. I want to make sure that he knows why, why he feels a certain way. Maybe he doesn't want to work out at one point, but I want him to be aware of what's going on. And the other aspect of this cognitive component would be skill development. So I want Stefan to be challenged and to develop skills like positive thinking, emotion regulation, and mindfulness in order to reach his highest well-being. And I think that sort of, I don't want to lay too much on him, so that sums up the cognitive component of this. Okay, so for the behavioral component of the self-empowerment model, I also broke this one down into two aspects, or two things to consider. The first one being an organizational participation. I want my client to follow a set schedule to meet the goals that he wants to meet. Organizational skills is going to be pivotal to my client's success going forward. So to be able to focus on this behavior, to be organized, is going to be super crucial to his success. And then the other behavioral component that I want Stefan to work on is coping with his behaviors. So there's certainly a lot going on right now in the world. So we're dealing with the pandemic. He's adjusting to a whole new work environment. He's adjusting to a whole new environment in terms of physical activity and fitness. He used to go to the gym a lot. So it's really important for my client to be able to cope with all these changes and bring positivity and to not lose focus on the goals that he set out to do. I also added a emotional component for the self-empowerment model, and so with this, I also broke it down into two. So the first one that I chose to do is the motivation control. So yeah, most days it will be hard to find motivation because of the lack of support that he has, given that, there's not a ton of support around him when you're dealing with social distancing and dealing with this pandemic. So, it's going to be huge to be able to motivate yourself and find what motivates you to continue working hard. And so Stefan's going to have to work on finding the things that motivate him. And then the other emotional component is self-efficacy, and this is just it will be up to my client to believe in his capacity to execute behaviors that are necessary to produce specific performances on any given day. And so self-efficacy is going to be the other emotional component. For me, I guess the goal for me as a coach and guiding him along here is that I really just want to encourage Stefan, or my client, to hone in on all of his abilities, and I want to make sure that he's proud of any progress that he makes towards his goals. That's, you know, the littlest bit of progress is a really massive thing that can go, that sometimes that you may not be able to recognize. So I want to make sure that he knows that even the smallest amount of progress is still progress. And I want to just make sure that he is learning from these experiences. So that's what I have for this video this week. Thanks for watching.